Hello, welcome to our very special series around the Visa Africa FinTech Accelerator. I'm here with Simon Ward, CEO and founder of Floatpays. Simon, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure, Polly. Great to be here.
Amazing, thank you. Well, why don't we start by you telling us a little bit more about yourself and about Floatpays and the kind of things that you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. So, Floatpays as a business was founded back in 2019, and the vision for the business is fairly simple. What we want to enable is financial inclusion and well-being for every working person. And so, how we go about doing that really is to partner with businesses to offer them a full stack of financial wellness products. All of the products are aligned to financial wellness pillars, really to aid employees on that journey towards financial well-being. So the types of product features that we offer, on-demand pay, so the ability to take earned but unpaid income earlier in the payroll cycle, really aimed at financial liquidity, so stopping people needing to borrow money to get out of trouble. We offer an interest-bearing savings product. It's a savings wallet with no fees, really, really easy to save directly off payroll. We offer insurance products, so let's stop the emergency before it happens with applicable products aligned to personal circumstance. Also offer products like free financial education, budget planning tools, all centered around how do we manage our money better so that we don't get ourselves into financial need. And last but not least, really, how we think about building good quality credit scores for individuals so they really can take advantage of the banking ecosystems that exist in our countries.
Amazing. And how do you stand out from other competitors in the market?
I think our approach is slightly different in that we haven't focused on a specific vertical and said we want to be that. We really are looking at financial wellness in an holistic sense. And so in order to accomplish that, we've taken a very strong partnership model. So we partner with a few banks, both in South Africa and one in the Philippines, really offering our product set. We partner with the best of breed types of financial products, including even as far as the training that we offer on the solution. So we've really tried to engage in a community and build a community around financial wellness and use best of product kind of features, if you like, to build our unique product.
Amazing, that sounds fantastic. And I guess looking at the African market, how would you describe the current fintech landscape, particularly in the country in which you operate?
Maturing, I think, would be the word I would use. I think we haven't had the same advantages to some of the international startups in terms of fundings in the past couple of decades. That's improving and improving quickly. I think the caliber of founder is improving in terms of the sense of international experience coming back home and really starting to build out better product and more sustainable businesses. I think there's a lot of enthusiasm into partnering with fintechs, which in our sense didn't exist a while ago. We're very much, traditional business, traditional big banks. But more as we move forward, we're seeing those type of organizations wanting to partner with startups, wanting to drive innovation through those ecosystems. So definitely a maturing landscape and a very exciting one.
Amazing. And what kind of challenges are involved with your operations and how are you navigating them, particularly when we're thinking about Africa as a market?
Absolutely. So with our product set in particular, we think about compliance and regulation. So we are a financial service provider here in South Africa. And so any country which we want to expand into, we have to understand the compliance environment which we're moving into. We need to understand what the risks around that are. Of course, currency fluctuation is affecting all of the world at the moment, but especially in Africa, devaluing currencies. What does that look like in terms of how we expand? I think, especially at a kind of a European American lens, we often think of, Africa as a single kind of market and you can get it and it's huge and it's growing. And we talk about the billion people that are going to be working soon on the continent. But, each country is different. Each country has its own cultural nuances. Each country has its own currency. Each country is governed by its own regulation, risk and compliance frameworks. And so thinking about that in terms of how you take a product that you've developed in one ecosystem and applying that, or applying the basic principle of that into a new country is certainly a challenge. And then understanding how you then fit into that new ecosystem is also the kind of ongoing challenge, if you like.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And sort of thinking about that as well, what kind of trends are we seeing in the African market? Obviously, in different spaces. And how are you acting on the trends, particularly in your region?
Absolutely. So if we think about trends, I think mobile money is becoming a very big thing in Africa. I think if we look back a decade and a bit ago, M-Pesa really changed the world in Kenya in terms of how people perceive money and mobile wallets, and thought about, a very different landscape in terms of how we could include people in a financial system. And I think that was definitely a catalyst to open people's eyes in terms of the art of the possible. Um, I think what we are starting to see as a trend is governments getting more and more involved with the ecosystems around startups, fintechs, and the regulatory side of what we do. A lot of sandbox opening up with those regulators to help encourage us to communicate and to partner. And there's some big partnerships being announced at government level in terms of moving the ecosystem forward, and I think that's extremely positive. Um, I think in terms of how startups are now starting to collaborate more and think about, partnerships as a way to scale, I think that's also an important aspect where we can actually deliver real value into the startup cultures and the ecosystems and help drive each other forward. And then I think if we think about companies like Visa, big multinational companies who are coming onto the continent, they're building an infrastructure which is required to allow us to expand. As small startups, as ambitious as we are, we can't build the core infrastructures required, especially in the financial sector. So having that type of investment on the continent is super exciting for any startup because it means the opportunity to innovate around that just gets stronger and stronger.
Amazing, yeah, it sounds so exciting. Definitely an amazing opportunity. I guess moving on to the accelerator program then that you've been a part of, I'd love to know a little bit more about your involvement in the program and how it has contributed to the growth and development of your company as you've been involved.
Yeah, so it's been an exciting few months for us to be part of the visa program. I think first and foremost, one of the attractions of the accelerator was that direct interaction that we could have with Visa. We have a few product ideas we're starting to test out in terms of financial inclusion, and having a partner like Visa help us on that journey to help validate the thinking, to help us with the ideation, to take the art of the possible and actually make it real was a huge advantage. Um, Whenever you work with it, whether it be a big payments company, a big bank, big car company, it's always very difficult. They've got huge ecosystems, thousands and thousands of staff. Like, how do we penetrate that to get to the subject matter experts who can help us understand in the shortest amount of time whether something that we're looking at doing is actually viable? And so I think that's been a huge benefit. There have been some secondary benefits too. I think meeting the other 22 startups in the group has been extremely valuable. Understanding their challenges, what they're looking at doing, what Africa means to them in their specific region, and potential partnerships which could come from that. There are a lot of collaborating ideas which could come and actually formulate new business thinking through the visa program. And then just having the mentors on the program to sense check where you are. We're all at different stages in our business evolution. So Plug and Play have done a great job of bringing in, a nice variety of mentors who we could ping off and understand, whether it was something that you wanted on the legal side or something on, the business structure side or something on the expansion side. All of those mentors were available to us to have one-to-one time whereby we could quiz them and really benefit from the experience in terms of helping mature our startups and helping us really get ready for that next stage of growth.
Amazing. Is there any particular sort of section of the program in terms of like a resource or support or the mentorship that you found most valuable?
For me, it was the visa part. I think speaking to the subject matter experts, we coming into the program, we had a very clear idea of what we wanted to try and accomplish, but we didn't know if what we were thinking was even possible. And so getting to a point where we understand that actually this is a real thing, that this is something that we could commit to and develop on, was probably the biggest kind of motivation to come into the accelerator and probably the biggest value that we've got out of the accelerator. Because now we have a path forward.
Absolutely, that's amazing. And are there any particular success stories or milestones that you've achieved as a result of the accelerator program in your business?
Great question. There isn't one particular milestone that stood out. It's been a great couple of months for our business. We continue to grow revenues, customers, partnerships. And so from that perspective, we were pretty much, driving this train forward, and that's all been fairly successful. I think having the mentors, both from the program and Plug and Pay, there to bounce ideas off, keep us honest in terms of what we were trying to achieve from a results perspective, was super useful. So weekly check-ins: where are you? You've committed to this. How can we help you achieve those results? Definitely supports the startup as you go through that journey. And then, like I said earlier, just that camaraderie, that support network that we've gained with the other founders and in the program has been invaluable. Great WhatsApp group, great ability to communicate, reach out, ask for help, ask a little bit of advice. Perhaps you're doing something that somebody's already solved for before, and it's quite a tight-knit group. It's only 23 startups in total, so it really gives a sense of personal attention to what you're doing. And so, yeah, I've really, really enjoyed that.
Amazing, and that sense of community can be really valuable when you're moving through, like having a business or a startup in this way. So that's fantastic to hear. Um,
Absolutely. It's tough being a founder in any startup
yeah,
business, and having others going through the same journey and being able to relate and being able to support you on that is invaluable. So, yeah, really enjoyed that.
amazing. And then just finally, then, what are your hopes for the future? Especially thinking about your involvement in the program and everything you've gained. What are you looking within your business moving forward?
Yeah, so I think this accelerators give us real energy and a fire in our bellies to continue on this journey around financial inclusion and build the product ideas that we had coming into the program. And we're very committed to that. We think it'll be super exciting as something new on the continent. Um, and, hopefully a partnership with Visa will come from that. They would be a great enabler for us, um, and certainly have the infrastructure to help us move this forward at pace. And that's exciting for us.
Amazing. Well, Simon, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to chat to you, and I hope that everything goes well for you as a result of this accelerator. So, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's been a pleasure, Polly. Thanks for your time.
Check the link in the description below to find out more about Visa's Africa Accelerator, a groundbreaking initiative that connects Africa's brightest minds with experienced mentors, cutting edge technology, and unparalleled investment opportunities to fast track startup success across Africa's dynamic fintech ecosystem.